about the latest arrest your agents did back on the 14th. Individual who had committed an assault, I believe last year,
Yep.
sentenced to 5 years. That sentence was suspended. Tell me what you can about that case, the details.
So what I'll also say is it wasn't his only assault, right? He also assaulted someone in Montgomery County and committed a couple robberies down there. And I think the most heartbreaking part of all of this is it could be stopped, right? A level of cooperation, even at a minimal effort of cooperation from the local jurisdictions, is what stops these individuals from going out and committing these kind of crimes again. You know, there's someone now who's a victim of a crime in Montgomery County who didn't have to be, right? Like, you know, we only have Howard County is the only one left. Montgomery County saw it. You know, Prince George's County, Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County, John Yoshevsky, like we've all come together and said, hey, you know what, we can do better for the public. And, you know, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, we're prioritizing public safety to a very real extent. We're not out looking for low-level criminals. This is somebody we would have looked for, someone who's assaulting people. If you leave a victim behind, we're coming to get you. And even if, you know, in Howard County where they let them walk out the door, you know, we'll find them on the street.
Why do you think a judge would suspend? I mean, assault is nothing to sneeze at. It's not like stealing a pack of gum. Why do you think a judge would suspend essentially the entire 5-year sentence?
So one of the things that I will say that they've told us in the past is they understand that ICE is going to take custody of them and remove them. But what I think the judges have never changed their mindset is if you're in Howard County, those judges should know that county doesn't work with us. The fact that this person is unlawfully here does not guarantee they're going to be, you know, removed from the country. And in Howard County, they're going to release them. Doesn't mean the person's even going to stay in Maryland. We've had a couple cases so far this year where people have been released from Howard County and then gone to commit crimes in Virginia and Texas. It doesn't mean they'll even stay in the state for us to come find them.
Right. So you don't think the judges are even up to speed on the fact that Howard County detention is?
Yeah, I think from a judge's point of view, they've been so used to over the years, and you know, historically, it's always been cooperative. You know, it's only been in the recent few years that we've seen this trend for, you know, the so-called sanctuary, where if the public knew what sanctuary meant, it just meant you don't turn people over in a prison sentence. Like, I don't think, you know, even the judges are unaware of that. So I think, you know, the judges are assuming, well, this person assaulted someone, obviously the jail will turn them over for removal from the country. Well, that's not happening. And I don't think the judges and the prosecutors have really seen and made an adjustment. You know, the rest of the counties, by all means, if you want to reduce sentences and allow Immigration and Customs Enforcement to take custody and they'll be removed from the community, you know, it cuts down on costs from, you know, the taxpayer's point of view in Maryland because these people aren't in custody that long. That's totally fine with us. But the idea that you're going to do that in a non-cooperative jurisdiction, all you're doing is allowing them to go out and reoffend.
Right. So County Executive Calvin Ball has said 65% of his voters, about 80,000 people, voted to have it this way. Do you think if the average voter knew, like, oh man, this guy assaulted someone and he got out and now he robbed someone, do you think they would still have that same mindset?
I think what makes that 65% inaccurate is the level of education the voter had on what they were voting for. If you told anyone, hey, would you like your city to be a sanctuary for immigrants? Of course. This is a country founded on immigrants. We're all welcoming of immigrants. Immigration and Customs Enforcement especially. We monitor millions. I think we're a little over 8 million people on our non-detained docket right now. And we're letting them go through the process as they're amongst, you know, the populace. We don't detain everybody. We don't remove nearly everybody. We're looking for the public safety, national security cases that make a real difference in the local community. So I think if the voters in Howard were really educated at the time and were like, hey, would you like us to not transfer prisoners in our jail who've committed crimes in Howard that have nothing to do with immigration over for removal from the community? I think that statistic would have been drastically skewed to the other side.
So you think it was the wording and
Absolutely.
how it was presented?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not making any assumptions about, you know, how it was worded, but I can tell you If you say, do you want Howard County to work with ICE, you know, it makes it sound like the county is, you know, working with us on a daily basis to find and arrest everyone who's unlawfully here, and nothing could be farther from the truth. My officers are actually out now looking for some of the sex offender victims that Calvin Ball's policy has created in Howard County. We're looking for those unlawful or those undocumented non-citizens to try to give them a benefit. And we're the only law enforcement agency in Howard County doing that. We're out specifically looking for the victims of these criminals. Nothing could be farther from the truth of the idea that we're going to go out and take an enforcement action on a woman who was just sexually assaulted. Right? We're like any other police force. We're here to protect the public, and that includes the victims of these crimes.
Right. Why do you think Calvin Ball has doubled down on this policy?
So I'd like to think that, you know, he's not a bad person, right? I truly believe that he's getting political advice from someone on his staff that is telling him, if you start working with ICE, you won't get reelected. And I just don't think that's accurate, because every other county has come on to say, like, you know what, in these public safety circumstances, we will work with ICE because we want our voters to be safe. We even want our constituents who can't vote to be safe. The number one victim of undocumented crime is the other undocumented population. And the idea that, you know, that would further them not wanting to call the police, ICE is here to refute that and say, well, actually, if you step forward and you're willing to testify against this person, ICE will come help you. ICE is looking to help the victims of these crimes.